The views, comments, and opinions of the following program do not necessarily reflect those of Morris Media Studios, MorrisMediaLive.com, or its affiliates. Listener discretion is advised.
Good evening and welcome to the Millennial Journal. We are excited about tonight's show. I am Linda Coleman Willis, your host. And tonight, of course, we have our Millennial hosts here tonight. Again, you remember them from last year. So we're looking forward to an exciting conversation. Thank you for joining us once again tonight as we share the Millennial Journal story, and also looking forward to connecting millennial journals, the millennials with the boomers and also Gen X. And I learned something from last week. There are some millennials, of course, on the lower end of the millennial age group. And these young ladies have taught me a thing or two. So I'm excited about tonight's show. We're going to be talking about the high rise in the millennials, and actually older than millennials, but younger than when the virus first started. So what I'm hearing is that the average age of the people that is showing up in the emergency room is between 18 and 40. 18. And also there were some young kids as young as 11 years old that lost their battle with the virus. So that's alarming to us, and we're going to talk about that tonight. So where's my millennial ladies? Oh, okay. There you are, Gee and Jaclyn. How are you tonight?
Good. Nice to see you again.
Nice to see you again, too. And hopefully we'll be seeing each other in person real soon.
Hopefully.
But anyway, Gee and I talked a little bit about the topic. So, Gee, you want to open it up?
Well, pretty much to piggyback on what you said, just the high rise in the younger people that are getting the disease, or the virus, I should say. I feel like it's mainly because kids, well, not kids, but younger people have a harder time trying to stay inside. Mm-hmm. Like, we're getting cabin fever. So I know just in the last month, there's been quite a few parties that we chose, not to attend because we are concerned about, passing it on. So I think that has something to do with it. Also, I feel like the beaches and stuff being open kind of early, the holiday, people just seemed really anxious to get out. And it was as if they never knew that, they act like they don't know it's happening, or like they don't realize the severity of it. So, hopefully people will start to see how serious it is. But we actually do have a caller I just learned that would like to tune in and talk about the topic with us. Caller, who do we have today? Who is it? Who are you? What you doing? Oh, all right. Well, they didn't want to wait for us.
Right? We got an impatient caller.
But thank you to the caller for watching. Call us back.
Did they have a question, or did they want to participate in the overall conversation?
We're not sure, because we've never had a caller that quick. So we were just hoping to hear from them. So if that was you, caller, call us back.
Let's go ahead to her opening, and then we can get into our topic for tonight. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. Well, I would say, in my millennial opinion, I think that, I think there's a lot of factors why young people could be contracting it more often. I think, a lot of people either live with their family. A lot of younger people either live with their family or roommates. There's a lot for typically younger people. You don't really see them living at home by themselves, especially between 18s and early 20s to late 20s. So I think that people, there's more communal living, so people just have access to it. And I think that people in America, we are a little bit more spoiled as far as germs and cross-contamination and things like that, and just being as knowledgeable as other places that have to worry about that, or don't have as much access to clean water or, sinks and soap and things like that. So here I think it's just the ability to be able to not care and not having the availability to have your own space, or to be able to quarantine by yourself, or, you know, just exile yourself from maybe your friends and family in general, if you guys are all living together. And in Los Angeles specifically, most people of all ages, a lot of people don't live by themselves anymore. I know a lot of older people that have roommates and things like that. So I think that that's something, communal living has a lot to do with it, like in an overall sense, you know.
Overall sense, you know, over the 4th of July holiday, the beaches were open, and they were there in large numbers without masks, they were not distancing, they were not practicing any of the rules that were set down to be able to fight this virus. And they opened the beaches on a holiday weekend. And living in Redondo Beach, I can tell you it was scary to see what was going on. And I think maybe what happened in the 4th of July is showing up in June. And what happened in maybe Labor Day, Memorial Day weekend is showing up in June. But 18 to 40, we're talking about 40-year-olds. I want to know, as for, let's say millennials, because I see 40-year-olds as very responsible adults. They're not living with their parents for the most part. They're married. They have children of their own. Is it possible that the younger millennials believe that it just won't happen to them? You know, they're indispensable maybe. Or maybe they just, I actually had this person say to me, I can't live my life that way. I can't stay locked up in the house.
Right.
And I said to her, what's your alternative?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Right. Not living.
Yeah. Do you want to live at all? Or,
yeah.
Right. To live, to do anything.
How do you have a conversation with a person whose mindset is, I don't want to live. None of us want to live our life this way.
Yeah.
We're making choices every day to do and not to do. I don't want to live my life this way. I'd rather be in the studio than at home in my home office on the screen. So no, we don't want to live our lives this way, but I'm making a choice. I have grandchildren I don't want to infect with anything. I have loved ones and I don't want to be infected. So how do we have a conversation with young people who maybe think, you know, we're young, and they've heard them say that it doesn't affect them the same way. And even that has changed. They're saying that chances are as they grow, they will have problems with their lungs and their kidneys and even their brains.
Yeah, it's going to show up later.
How do we have that conversation? What do we say? What do we do?
I know that on the flip side, it's not just like about telling people to stay inside and being clean. There's also a whole like nice large group of people that really just think it's all fake. So besides the people that, like you were saying, that are communal living, that are forced to have to still go to work, or that are forced to be exposed to it and then potentially pass it around the people that they're stuck around, there's a whole group of people who are like, yeah, no, that mask isn't going to do anything, and you not coming out of the house is just a form of you being a sheep. So regardless of what you believe or not, like somebody, somebody knows, it seems like now somebody knows somebody that's gotten it. And then you've also heard people that feel like they had it previous. So I feel like the people that maybe feel like, oh, we had it back in the fall and it was, you know, they told us it was just an upper respiratory infection, or it's just a form of the flu. Like, those people are the ones that are still walking around, you know, maybe being more careless. And I feel like those conversations are even harder to start, because you can tell people to be clean, but they should be clean anyway. So, like, we used to say when this whole thing first started, because we worked for a big department store and we were exposed to a lot of people. So we were saying, like, there's a lot of people that are freaking out because they were already not washing their hands, or they were already not being, you know, like, clean, but they think that they were. And so trying to get those people, but I wash my hands. Yeah, but doing this under some water isn't washing your hands, you know? So, like, having that conversation is, like, that's back
to basic life skills.
Yeah, that's more of, like, a teaching opportunity to be like, okay,
teachable moment.
The thing with the soap, with the kids, where you put the pepper in the water and then you do your that's, like, the most basic way, but then that's fine. Okay, we can teach you to wash your hands for 30 seconds because you didn't know that and you're whatever years old. But then there's the group of people that are like, it doesn't matter. Those are the people that I'm worried about because I don't know how to start that conversation. And I want to just be like, dude, are you a doctor? Like, you're not. So how about you just try to be safe for the sake of anything? Because, like, even if you don't believe it, or you think it's a conspiracy, or you think whatever, like, why take the chance of you being wrong? Mm-hmm. Why not
with your life?
Yeah. Why not just I mean, you don't have a problem wearing shoes because it's not safe to walk outside in the pavement with no shoes on all the time.
Or you wear clothes.
You know what I'm saying? You wouldn't walk into somewhere that where you knew something was going to harm you and not cover yourself. So why is it so hard for people to not think that it's possible, like you said, that they're just unstoppable? Like, we don't have the greatest immune system just because we live in LA. Just because we're exposed to smog doesn't mean we won't get COVID.
Yeah.
You know?
I think, in my opinion, I want to... Certain people, I think you just can't have conversations like that with, period. You know? Some people just are stubborn and don't want to hear those kind of things anyway or be told anything about what they do. I think for the millennials, the 40-somethings and below, I think, like you said, a lot of them, like, you have grandchildren and there's 40-somethings that have kids and maybe have grandkids also now. But for millennials and younger millennials, 30 and below around, some of them don't have children or don't have any generations below them. So I think that might be a motivating force, that they feel like, you know, I don't have anything to lose. Like, they don't have anyone to be responsible for, so they can feel a little bit more reckless about themselves, and they don't feel as tied to, you know, infecting just, you know, the person that at the market or something, because they know they're not around anyone exactly close to them. But I think those kind of people, once it happens to you or someone you care about, that's when it really hits home, which is most times a little bit too late. But you kind of, those kind of people, I feel like, find out the hard way usually in life with everything. But sometimes those are the people that need that to, you know, really get it to sink in their head. So I think it just all depends on where you're at in your life and just kind of who you are in general as a person anyway. Because some people are more caring and compassionate, whereas others don't even care, you know, even on a simple bless you, you know, you sneezed or something like that. Yeah. So I think it's generational for sure, but I think even within the generations there are differences in just overall worldviews and world opinions that make people just, you know, care less or more about it, you know?
I think more exposure, like how people are, not that it gets sad to say, but like more people that are in the hospital or more people coming forth saying like, oh, I was tested and I was positive. And not that we want to see the imagery, but for some reason, the more time goes by, it seems like the younger generations need like hardcore proof. They need like a video. They need something that they can refer back to really be like, oh no, like they need like hard evidence, I guess you would want to say, you know what I'm saying? So I feel like the more people that are young, or the more families of the people that are younger that get sick, or and even the ones that make it through it, that are telling their stories and that are really telling the people around them that they know. Like if you got it, you need to tell your coworkers you got it. Like not that you need to, you know, tell the world your business, but like that's the only way I feel like a certain group of people can necessarily really believe it, because when they see it and they're like, dude, that guy was 12, or that lady, you know, like the pregnant lady, the lady that was pregnant and she was like
the
9,
one that
she was
died,
like
right?
No, she was like almost full term, and she got COVID and was going live from the hospital bed showing like, hey, I'm pregnant and I have it and it can happen to you. You'd think I'm healthy because I'm pregnant and I'm taking extra care of myself. I'm taking my vitamins, doing everything I'm supposed to do. I'm staying indoors. I'm not leaving the house, and she still caught it. So that kind of exposure that's like raw, like here it is, you can't deny it. I feel like that will help more younger people, especially people that just stay on the phone all day. Like you get all the people that only get their information from Facebook, they only get their information from you know, Instagram,
Twitter,
those type of like, especially younger kids that's all they do. They're not looking at the news. They're like, what's on Facebook top story? You know what I'm saying? Those, I think that will definitely help them understand like how serious getting it is, and that it can happen to anyone. It has no, you know.
I think you brought it back. Both of you brought it back around. I asked that same question to boomers. And they said, you have to make it personal to them. Yes. As long as it's someone else.
Right.
You have to bring, and you said, bring it back around and making it personal to them. Because they're not really concerned that, but making it personal to them, in my opinion, there were 85 young children from summer camp. You heard about that, right?
Yeah.
85 from a summer camp of about 100 and something kids, and 85 contacted the virus.
Wow.
So if that's not making it personal to them, and
right,
not because they don't have kids and they don't have kids in summer camp. So when we're having that conversation to millennials, we're making it personal to them. Yes. What do they really have to lose? Their life. And there are stories, I don't know if they're making the internet or the Instagram or Facebook, but certainly I'm of course, CNN, MSNBC. So I get the hard
classic,
right? The real news.
Yeah. And they're talking about how these young people are deathly ill in the hospital. They are ill. So we have to find a way to open the conversation. I know they don't want to hear it because, I got that, I can't live like that. I can't live that way. Well, maybe you will die that way, and I know personally that they started out saying that it was for older people. And I think they turned a lot of people who say, well, that's not me. It's you today. Yeah. It's all of us today. And I think that should be a real concern. And then the other thing they said was the older people has to practice what we preach. Yes. And that, I think for the most part, the people I know that are older are for the most part, but I do see there are people who are standing up and suing the government because they don't want to close their business, or they don't want to wear the mask, or they don't want to do whatever the government is saying that they should be doing to make themselves safe and everyone else safe. So, I mean, how do you get it through to people? Because there are adult people, older people that refuse to close the beach in one of the beach cities. I won't call the name, one of the beach cities. It was a demonstration. They said, we live in America. We don't have to do anything we don't want to do. This is a free country. It's free for me to spread this disease if I want to.
I think it has a lot to do with our clown in office right now. I think it has a lot to do with, if our person in charge is not making it seem like it's that serious, that's an entire large portion of people, obviously because he's in power, that are going to follow whatever he says. So when he's saying things like, the people want the beaches open, we got to open them, people are going to flood the beach and then be mad that the beaches are flooded. You know what I'm saying? So I personally feel like a lot of this disregard for safety comes from the orange man, and I'm gonna stand by that forever, because
it does, but is he really responsible for your actions or
he's
my
not
actions?
Responsible for it, but he's definitely plays a part, because if you're a young person, like for example a 19-year-old or a 20-year-old that maybe didn't get to vote but their parents did, and their parents voted away, and all they know and where they live and what they go through is what their parents' friends, their parents' coworkers, their grandparents, whoever they are telling them. Now you have these youngsters that are walking around that really have no idea what is going on except for what they're hearing from their parents. So those people are the same ones that potentially can go to the beach, can go to the parties, can go to whatever, and are gonna spread this around because their parents are at the country club that's open, or their parents are at a barbecue from their coworkers because their coworkers are bored at home and miss them. It like crazy. It's like, as stupid as it sounds, it's that simple that people make these poor choices. That's what I feel. So I feel like there's a giant group of people that are literally gonna live and die by what that guy says. It proves itself when you watch the videos of people saying the most idiotic things about why they don't have to wear a mask. So, I mean, yeah, the mask is not going to keep you safe. It's not going to, but it's going to keep you safer than you would be without it. Just like pants keep you dry when you get wet. pants are
a raincoat,
shoes protect your feet. So if there's a large, if you don't know any better and you are one of those people who don't want to have conversations with other people, which is why this show is great, because it can open people's minds and make them think ways they never thought and get different opinions. But if you don't have that luxury, or you're not open to that and you're in your bubble, you're just going to think the virus is fake. You're not necessarily going to take all the precautions. You know what I mean? Like,
okay, I want to give you another one from the boomers. We said that they said that number one, we said that you have to, what was our first one? Make it personal to them. And then we said, practice what you preach. And then another one is, they need to demand the same respect for themselves that they place on us. They demand that we respect them. You're disrespecting now these are the boomers, and that's why I'm giving it to you as millennials, to kind of dissect it. Okay, and what they're saying is, you demand respect from us, then you should say demand the same respect from yourself, and respect the fact that you should not be going out without a mask. You demand respect from us, right? You demand it, you should give it. And their idea of giving it is showing respect for other people. You may be okay, but your grandmother may not be, or that old lady next door that you see in the store may not be. So what do you do with that? I asked the question and I got about 7 different responses.
Really? I'm like, now I feel pressure.
I know. I'm like, those people are waiting for an answer from us. We got to make it good.
This is just conversation. And the reason it's so important, I think, is because it'll give you and me tools, and especially me. It'll give me tools to approach these kids. Their lives could be at stake here, right? All of our lives, actually, mine just as well as yours, because the testing is so poorly done. The follow-up is so poorly done. The length of time it takes to get a test back takes so long. You could have affected 10 people before you realize you have it.
Yeah.
Okay. So what do you think about the respect thing? Respect yourself. You demand that we respect you and give you respect. We talked about that last week, right?
Yeah. I think that's just an important value people take for granted and they don't really put in the forefront in general. So I feel like, the hardest respect someone can expect or even give, I think, is self-respect, because a lot of people don't respect themselves. A lot of people even if they feel like they respect themselves, they don't make others respect those same boundaries. So for the same, like you said, do you respect yourself enough to wear a mask to respect others? But most people, well, I won't say most, because people have certain levels of self-respect, but unlimited or unconditional respect and self-respect, I think, is hard to come by. I think that people need to consider other people more. I think in society we've been given more liberties to just kind of like live your best life and do what you want, follow your dreams, and no one ever said that included a mask. So now people are like, what am I going to do? Like you said, I can't live my life like this. I can't stay in the house. I can't wear a mask. But I think it's like the liberties that we've been given here. We've been given the opportunity to feel like we have a say. And people were out there protesting and, throwing their power and their weight around, or their money or their influence to express the fact that they wanted to feel free to, if that's the case, why aren't there people protesting to walk around naked or like do anything that is like a little bit taboo or against the norm? But this isn't even taboo. It's just a little bit uncomfortable and, it's just annoying. But other than that, it's not really harming you. It's just more of a nuisance. But I think our ability to be able to feel like I have a voice, I don't have to do this, I can do what I want to do, and who's going to stop me, is like a big thriving force, because there's no mask police, and then most people.
Some places there were.
Well, yeah. Some places there were,
they're
but
giving out tickets.
I'm just saying on an everyday, like, you're walking your dog or whatever. There's no way to really know who's wearing masks and who's not. So I feel like, some people have that, like, who's going to stop me or who's going to do anything, especially the people that have more of an ability to do so or more privilege or influence. Whereas someone else that's just trying to go to the market, they're going to put their mask on and go in the store because they just want to go get milk for their baby or diapers or stuff to feed their kids. So I think it's based on your ability to have that privilege to feel like you can voice your opinion. Because I know I'm not going to go get on the middle of the street and tell nobody I'm not going to wear a mask because I'm going to end up on the news. But that's me. Somebody else might have better luck. But, I that's my opinion.
I feel like...
What do you feel
I feel like young people... Like, it circles back to what we talked about last time of, like, younger people not wanting to hear what older people have to say and millennials being somewhat emotional because we are part of the generation that learned things via the internet and
I can do it myself.
We don't feel like we like as much as we're emotional and concerned about ourselves, we forget to be concerned about other people because we're so wrapped up in what you just said of like
empathy.
Yeah, but we're so wrapped up in like I have the privilege of choosing to, you know what I'm saying? So now,
I don't want to.
Yeah, so now I'm just out here like I'm going to do it because my grandma told me not to. You know what I mean? Like, and I feel like there's like it's just a stubbornness. You know what I mean? And then it goes back to the communication because how does somebody that reminds you of your grandma or of your grandpa or of an uncle or something tell you to chill out and to sit down in the house and to respect yourself in the middle of a pandemic and them listen just like they would anything else. Put some clothes on. Respect. Don't talk like that. Don't
come home for your curfew.
Yeah, like all those other things that and I feel like it gets brushed off because that whole concept of respect yourself so that like if you don't respect yourself, why should other people do that? Like I don't feel like honestly millennials, everybody, I feel like you don't realize that till you get to a certain age, till you really
affects you.
Till it affects you. But until you get to the age of like when like if like high school kids or something say something crazy and me and you will be like, what did he just say that? Or like, did that just happen? But that's because they don't realize what they're doing. And I feel like it's the same thing with that. We don't realize that we're not respecting ourselves by not wearing the mask. We're not thinking about everybody else that you're infecting or you're potentially harming just because we're like, but it's my right. Like, it's my world. And why should I care about that same lady at my job that complains about all the other stuff old people complain about? Or, how, you know what I mean? Like that sense of just like, because to you, it just sounds like noise. It sounds like the noise that you hear from your parents. It sounds like the noise that you hear
just
from
someone
everybody else
telling you something to do.
And we just tend to tune it out. You know what I mean? And then you have the few that are running around trying to like, like I said before, they're trying to tell you it's not real. Nobody's sick. It's not a real fire. And then you have that, and then you're like, well, why should I care then for real? If there's a whole, there's all these other people telling me that it's not even real, and then I'm just worried about her, and she. I just think the respecting yourself thing, that's y'all giving us too much to try to think about. Like
that's already another thing.
They're too young. Yeah. They're not going to do that. They're just trying to figure out what's going to go viral on TikTok. Like.
I don't think they were suggesting that you think of all of these things. I'm thinking, I ask them for suggestions to be able to talk to millennials about this that might be effective. And different people had different suggestions. And so that was one of, one more I want to throw out there. Use immediate access to this information to their advantage. Show them where it's to their advantage. And you're saying, I don't want to hear anyone to tell me to wear a mask. I don't care about that old lady. And let's take the respect word out. You care about your life. The mask is on your face. So it doesn't necessarily mean that you're protecting someone else. Right. You're protecting you. You may be protecting them too. But that's if I get ready to go out every single day, I'm not thinking about everyone else first. I'm thinking about me first, and then everyone else once I'm out there. So that was another suggestion, is to give them immediate access to the information, and then help them see how it benefits them.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make you're the millennials? You think that? And keep in mind, these people were asked the question. They didn't approach me. I approached them, because I think to me it's scary to see a whole generation of kids, of young people. They're really not kids. A lot of them aren't kids. 18 to 40. 40 is certainly not a kid. But to see a generation of people who could lose their lives, or in the next, let's say, a 40-year-old at 50 might have his kidneys are blown, or her kidneys are blown, or the liver, or the heart, or, a lifetime of problems, where you normally get those kinds of things maybe in your 80s. So I think it's a real situation. And as older adults, like everything else in your lives, we feel we should at least talk about it with you. And you made very good points last show, and I hope everybody watches the last show and this one.
Right, check it out.
Check it out. How to approach a millennial, a good way. And so we're continuing on that. We're just talking about a much serious topic, which is the virus. And I have lost relatives. I know people in my church. I know people in my community. It is so real. And so to say nothing, I think we would be, they may not accept it, but to say nothing, I think would be just horrible, for us to not say anything. And that's probably the way we feel about most things. But this, life or death.
Yeah.
So do you think giving them, having them have immediate access, because the information is on the internet. Now, the problem with the internet that I find is that you have to be really careful about who that information is coming from. Like you were saying about people saying it's not real. There are people out there saying it's not real.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Definitely.
So you have to be careful about where that information comes from. But having immediate access is, which Trump is actually trying to take away. He doesn't want you to know how many people are sick.
He's going to shut down the internet.
In your community or in your state. So, yeah, you need immediate access. And then supporting you in how you digest or how you use it, or how, not forcing it on you, but helping you to understand what it means to you. Would that be effective in any way, or can you add something?
Absolutely, because there's a lot of social media influencers that are taking the time to make posts so that the people that are just going on social media and are using those apps and do get their information from those ways, because the internet is never going to stop changing. It's going to keep growing. It's going to keep moving. Things are going to keep happening. People are going to use different apps. The younger you are, the less you are prone to pulling up CNN or pulling up Google News or pulling up whatever. So the TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, I feel like those three main outlets are what we have to use to let them know. Because I've seen on TikTok people posting informational stuff to like let people know, what's really going on, like working, like the nurses, even the nurses doing videos, or like the people, the emergency responders, and just like everybody. When those people make posts, when those people are out there on the front lines and they're exposing it and putting it on the platforms like TikTok to make it entertaining, or to make it, like make it more serious, because you can add music and you can put more back, like you can just add more flair to your video than you can on Facebook or Instagram, and it makes it more entertaining. But it also, the news not necessarily should be entertaining, but if that's what's going to get kids to watch it and understand the soap thing that I was talking about, the pepper in the water and then putting your finger with soap, like if that's going to get the demographic of 18 to 25 to be like, you know what, maybe I'll wash my hands twice. I feel like that's where it needs to happen. And like we were talking about, I was talking about with my sister, that there's a whole group of like grandparents that do TikToks and make videos and they go viral for funny stuff, for like dancing or like doing challenges and stuff like that. And I feel like that's a really good way for, you know, a baby boomer, a grandparent. You don't even necessarily have to be a baby boomer, but just maybe the grandparent figure, somebody that's older, to show, you know, an 11-year-old, a 12-year-old, or an 18-year-old, like, look, we can make this video. It can be funny. It can go viral. People can see it. We can do it together. Or I can make it. It can be funny. You can share it with your friends and get a kick out of it. But that's still spreading the knowledge. And that's, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that I feel like is just utilizing those platforms that the kids are going to flock to, or the teenagers are going to flock to, or whoever, whatever age group. Millennials specifically are on like Facebook and Instagram, like Gen Z and Gen Y or whatever. They're TikTok. Everything they do is TikTok. They don't know how to function without that. So if you're trying to have these conversations, or maybe, you know, like, go to TikTok, Google those things, because I know everybody knows how to use the Google machine, because it'll find everything for you. You know, find these influencers that are older, because they are out there. They're totally out there. People just don't know that they're out there, but they're out there. And I feel like that can help.
It bridges the gap a little bit.
Yeah, and it makes it like, see, like, I can still be cool. We can still do this together. We can still communicate, and like, we can all fight this virus together, and it doesn't have to be weird. You know, it doesn't have to be like a battle between us. It should just be a battle against Corona.
Corona.
Oh, we have a call, guys.
We got a caller.
Take our call.
All right. Who we got on the line?
It's V from LA.
Can't hear.
V from LA. What's your question?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's kind of, honestly, I've been looking at it like, I think everybody kind of has that, if the government says something, I'm going to do the opposite. If the government puts out some information, it must not be true. So I think younger folks, they just kind of, they're like, if you tell them to do something, they're not going to do it. And that's kind of what we're seeing now. You know what I mean?
Just to be rebellious. They're just trying to be rebellious.
Exactly.
For no other
They're
reason.
like, let's add that to the list, too.
Can we ask you your age? Is that okay?
What'd you say?
What's your
Can
age?
we ask you your age?
32.
32, okay. So how would you approach a young person if you were really serious about trying to keep them safe?
I feel like it's only so much you could do in regards to approaching people. You know what I mean? When it comes to talking to people about their own actions, a lot of the times it's like talking to somebody about their kids. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you can only tell them so much. I just kind of feel like if you stay, and this is for anybody, if you stay consistent in your own actions, people just catch on. You know what I mean? If they see you always got a mask on,
ride the wave.
if they see you always doing, yeah, exactly. They always see you doing what you doing, and that's just you. Then somebody's gonna take it serious. They're gonna be like, oh, they always, you know, because all it takes is that one situation, their grandma to get a, you know, the virus, or somebody related to them, or somebody they know at work, and oh man, now I got to wear that mask. You know what I mean? So, you know, if you stay true to it, life teaches us lessons. You know, and those lessons they come when they come.
They show up.
And there's nothing you can do about it.
They show up and show out.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. When that happens, there's nothing you can do about that except for, you know, either learn the lesson or let it teach you a consequence. So, you know, like I said, it's not really too much you can do in regards to telling people, because my honest opinion is more so, I don't think it's just young people. I think white supremacy has a lot to do with, or not white supremacy, I should say white privilege has a lot to do with people not wearing masks too. And this is just what I've seen in the media. You know what I mean? It's a lot of younger white folks that are just like, so what? We're gonna do what we want to do, and you know what I'm saying?
The Karens and the Kevins,
right?
Yeah. You go down to, you know, I work in Long Beach, you know, and I'm right there at the border between Orange County, and nobody wears masks down there. You know what I mean? And it's
They don't
all
have to.
white folks. It's all white folks. You know what I mean? If I seen a video the other day on YouTube where 2 white guys were walking around in Newport Beach and they were giving away free masks. And they were asking white folks, like, hey, you want a free mask? Because they weren't wearing any.
And they were saying no.
And they cussing them out. Not just saying no, they cussing them out. Why are you out here giving masks? Why are you doing this? And you're being muzzled and you're a slave and all this.
Like you're handing out Bibles or something.
Yeah, like you're handing out Bibles.
Well, maybe one of the things that you can do is have them look up the statistics for the number of people who are in the ICU, who have lost their lives, who are in the hospital in Orange County.
Yep.
Because even though they may think they're privileged, the disease doesn't.
Right.
Exactly.
Doesn't.
Yeah.
Maybe it has to be a show and tell for them. I'm not sure. But trust me, they are not really getting by. There are a lot of people doing that. You're absolutely right. And the media plays it up and you see it. And maybe someone said some people believe it's fake anyway. But there's real proof in a lot of people's lives, in a lot of American lives, almost over 300,000 now.
What's sad about that is that even, let's just say it was something that was, over sensationalized, I guess you could say. You know what I mean? Personally, I'm not taking any chances.
Exactly.
I'm not even trying to catch a cold out
right.
of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Try not to catch it.
Right. I got allergies. I'm scared to sneeze or cough.
All that. I mean, before the pandemic, when people would sneeze without covering their mouth, I'd give them a crazy look, you know?
Right. Now
It's
you're
just
not able to
always
fight.
Yeah. I've always washed my hands and, done all this stuff. So when people start doing it now, I'm like, yay for y'all.
Right.
Where was all this beforehand? What were y'all doing? Y'all needed guidance on washing your hands and sneezing in your arm, you know?
Yeah, well, before it was a matter of maybe a germ or two, but now it's life or death.
Exactly.
So I'm glad to hear I'm going to call you all the mature.
I'll take that.
Right.
I'm glad to hear you speak the way you speak, because maybe some young people won't listen to me, but they'll listen to you. I'm not the hit people over the head type with information, but I've been out there a long time. So if I see a challenge, especially something this large, I start looking for solutions.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. One thing I will say though is about someone said something about showing people statistics and stuff. People don't want to see truth or knowledge. You know what I mean? People nowadays, they have to learn by experience. You know, you could walk up to them with a million pamphlets about what's going on in the world. You could show a Trump supporter exactly all the bad things that he's been doing, firsthand proof, and whatever else you can show them. And if they really have it in their hearts and minds to support that or to go against the grain or, just to do whatever they're doing recklessly, they're going to do that. You know what I mean? Those life lessons, that's the biggest teacher you can come across, and there's no way that you can't listen.
The boomers, not hit them over the head with what they said was basically they're saying put the information in the form that they're used to receiving it, like Facebook or
social media,
the way they're used to seeing it. And I asked the question and was answered, I think, by Gee, that there are influencers online that these young people will listen to.
Yeah.
So they're saying, because they're not listening to us, but there is someone out there that they will listen to in a format that they will accept it.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
And I will put the weight on someone who has a heavy influence, regardless if they realize it or not. But the fact that the president can't take a second to actually sit there and say, "Yo, this is a serious thing, and everybody needs to take heed."
It plays
That's a huge deal about it too.
He's the world's oldest millennials, and not even millennial. I don't want to insult millennials.
Right. I'm like, hey.
What's the 2-year-old? What are the 2-year-olds?
Right.
He's
looking up to us.
Yeah, he's the boss baby.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's why I feel like anybody else, any reasonable person would understand the seriousness or the influence that you need to take control of, just by saying that, because that simple thing, it will get a lot of people in line. Even if it didn't make people make a certain choice, it will make people take it serious enough for themselves.
Second guess it.
That they would, they would be protecting themselves and by doing that, protecting a lot of other people too.
And you would think that even if he doesn't believe that it's real, or he has his own beliefs, that he would still worry about the safety of us. And that because it would make more sense.
And just say it because you're the president.
Yeah, just tell us. I mean, you guys can lie or save face for everything else that you want to tell us when it's time. But for something like this, it's
life or death. They're
it's so irresponsible.
I'm not going to
just
take
be
a stance
like,
on
I'm
this.
not going to say it, but I'm going to say the opposite.
This is coming from someone who cares deeply about all of you. Don't depend on him. He doesn't care about anyone but
you. For him.
No, I'm
He's not my
definitely
president.
not depending on him.
It hasn't happened in 4 years. It's not going to happen. And my husband always say to me, hope is not a best strategy. I'm like, I hope, I wish.
Yeah.
That's not a great
Right.
strategy.
Hope is not a game plan.
It's not a great strategy. He doesn't care. But we care, and we care enough to look for solutions and never give up on looking for solutions.
Exactly.
And especially for our communities and for our young people and in black, brown, yellow, whatever.
And everything in between.
Young people after and we've lost a lot of older people in this. They were the first ones to go. There's a lot of older people. Now it's going, they're getting
convalescent
younger.
homes and everything.
Right. So it is really, it's urgent that we talk about and talk to and make information available. And the people in your age group talk to, because you're talking with, you're not beating them over the head with it. And like V was saying about him personally, I've always watched him, well, there are a lot of people that haven't, but they got a few germs. Now it's life and death. Yeah. So I just hope you continue to have those conversations out in the community among your age groups.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Thank you so much for calling in.
Yeah, thank you
appreciate
for calling
it.
in, B.
Thank you.
Your friends. We love having conversations. Okay, so either one of you ladies have anything that you want to add? This has been really refreshing for me because I know that there's going to be someone out there that's going to benefit. Definitely. And we have not put anybody down.
No.
We're not calling them any kind of names. We're just sharing information, experiences, and especially coming from, you all, the millennial group. Sharing information, very much needed information. And I think a lot of the people in the media are doing a great job, and a lot of celebrities are doing a great job. But I think when they said that for millennials, you have to make it personal to them.
Yeah.
That's going to be a really big,
even he said that when he called.
Because it's true, because it's like, if it doesn't, people live in their little bubbles. Like, they literally they make those little bubbles that you can study in and you can sit in and be in your own little world, because people just want to stick to themselves. And I feel like if it's not being given to you, it's like grits. Some people eat sugar. Some people put salt. I'm not about to eat no grits that got sugar in them, and I'm probably not, if I'm not exposed to it, someone doesn't make me taste it, I'm never going to know if I like it or not, and vice versa, because I eat both. So, that's a whole nother, but I feel like that's gonna definitely, help people change their views or just be open to it, because change doesn't happen overnight. It's not like they're gonna watch one TikTok and be like, oh my god, but then there are gonna be someone who's like, wow, this post spoke to me, like this post made it serious. Honestly, the one that made me really was the lady that was pregnant. Like when I saw her pregnant in bed with this giant belly and these tubes down her throat, and still found the strength to make a video, I was thinking of my friends that are pregnant, thinking of family members that are pregnant, people that I just see on the street that I'm like, God, she's got a baby, and she's got a baby in her belly, and she's got a mask on, you know what I mean? Or hearing 2 months in that someone that I don't even know, that I just follow on my timeline, their mother passed away, and their mom was only 50 something in perfectly good health. So I was still kind of like, wow, this is, you know what I mean? Like, I never didn't believe it was real, but it definitely made me like, oh crap. You know what I'm saying? And the younger ones, the more like shock value I feel like they get, the more it's serious. Just like the protesting, like all these people were seeing everything going on, and then it was like George Floyd, that was it, you know, like that set it off. The straw that broke the camel's back. Exactly. And I feel like it's sad that it takes that much because of the times that we live in, and like people don't believe things until it's like right in front of your face. But like being vocal about it, I don't see why more celebrities aren't really talking about it. Like, I don't know if it's their team that's like don't speak on it or what, but
I think people are probably worried about backlash and just people being like, well, why do I have to wear a mask? And like
the same reason you
going
gotta
back
wear shoes,
and forth
dude.
about it. Yeah,
same
I don't
reason
see
to
why
protect
the big
yourself.
deal.
At the end of the day, the same reason you gotta wear shoes is the same reason you gotta wear a seatbelt. It's the same reason you gotta keep all your arms and legs inside the vehicle on the roller coaster. And what is this life? A roller coaster ride. So keep your arms and legs in and put your freaking mask on. You should be
out there in the community.
Look, no. I'm socially distancing.
Mask on.
Lives matter too.
Right.
God. Yes, I'm serious. You know, you're the things that you're saying is really important, because it really is that important. You know, you do have to wear a seatbelt. You know, it wasn't always the law.
No, it wasn't. Just like we didn't always have to wear this mask.
Because so many people went through the windshield.
It seems so simple that's how all these other things become established. That's why there's instructions on the back of shampoo, and there's all these crazy things because somebody was like, I can't eat this,
don't drink,
and they ate it. So it's the same thing with a mask. Do you think doctors and nurses have been wearing masks just because they're like, because nobody contracted something while they were performing some sort of procedure? Like, it's not, you know what I mean?
I think it goes back to people's basic understanding of science and germs in general. I think a lot of people just don't have common knowledge of, like V was saying, our caller, like people sneezing into their arms or just washing their hands. That was already a basic problem. So I think like those simulations that they do, or I know I saw one where they put like a invisible glow-in-the-dark liquid on one person's hands in like a dining room setting, and they had them proceed with dinner and just carry on regularly, and at the end of it they turned off the lights and showed everywhere where the contact had been made and how many people had some on their face, on their mouth, on their plates. And I just think that kind of information, because people don't understand, like, you know, they say give you 6 feet of space, but people don't realize how far germs travel with sneezes or coughs or talking, just hugging. People don't have that understanding of how easily germs can, you know, just run rampant. I mean, luckily, like I said before, like we're in America, so we kind of have a very germophobic culture and society. So we don't really, germaphobe in the pandemic, but we don't have to worry about having clean water or like just certain things. Like we can get a little cut and go to the doctor. Other places, I'm happy and appreciative that I can experience this and live in America, because what's been getting me are the videos of seeing other people in other countries that are going through corona, and people that are, like I saw a video, they were in Africa, I believe it was in Ghana, and they had just built a makeshift sink with like a 5-gallon bottle that just tipped when you like, you know, had a little pedal, and they're just washing their hands using that. So the fact that you can just have a sink and soap readily available to do basic things is such a privilege here that I think we take advantage, or we don't take advantage of it, really. All these privileges. Yeah, we take it for granted. And just that basic understanding of how much space someone does need, or how can you limit contact, or when you go to the store and go shopping, don't touch everything in the store. Like,
just touch what you know you're probably gonna buy.
Touch what you need and keep going. But I think those little things, people don't understand the footprint, I guess, that they're leaving in their everyday life as far as germs and, you know, cross-contamination.
The thing that frustrates me the most is this is one disease that we seem to have some control over because we know it exists. there have been hundreds of diseases and viruses
over
that
the
have come
years
through.
and decades.
Yeah. And we had no control. Now
Yeah.
we don't control the disease. They have put control in our hands and we don't want it, or we're not
Exactly.
following it. I don't
Right.
understand that.
I don't understand how
They
people
do this. They're not guaranteeing, but if one doctor said 50%, it cuts it by at least 50%, the mask by itself, without washing hands, without anything else. It cuts it by 50%. Now, eventually, they will probably have a vaccination or something, but you all know measles or mumps or polio, all of that started as some mass disease that hundreds of people suffered, thousands before they found a cure. And now you get vaccinated and people aren't complaining. Kids have to go to school. Well, some people
They're
are.
doing trials on people in Africa now of a vaccine
There,
that they
there,
have.
there are lots of tests going on there. And so what I'm saying is when you're speaking to young people, if you can get them to understand that they are being empowered. I'm being empowered with the mask. I'm being empowered with the sanitizer. I'm being empowered with gloves. I'm being empowered in staying away from people. Before, we just walking all over each other.
Yeah.
My little granddaughter's birthday is tomorrow. I went to the other day and took her present, and I'm not going to a birthday party.
Right.
So that empowers us. So if we can get that message, you're being empowered. No one's pushing anything on you. This is your life. You're being empowered.
Take it with pride.
At least 4 or 5 or 6 skills that you can control, because you can't control everything. But that gives you a percentage of not getting it. It increases your percentage of not getting it. Just imagine if we could walk around, that we were walking around right now and they would tell you, it doesn't matter what you do, you're going to get it. I have to stand in the bed. I don't have to stand
in the house.
out. I can do certain things. I just have to do it a certain way. So I don't understand the fight against having to curb what we do. And I know that's selfish. That's people are thinking about themselves. And then, like you said, some people just don't believe. The young lady I was speaking to, she said, I can't live my life like that.
I just don't see it's almost like it takes so much more energy to frown than it takes more muscles in your face to frown than it does to smile. Why do people want to spend energy fighting your safety? Like, where's the logic in that? Like, it's
fighting
so much,
for your livelihood.
It's so much easier to just be like, hey guys, let's all be clean and safe and healthy. But instead, you'd rather walk around and cause a scene or cause a fight or make commotion where there shouldn't be. You know what I'm saying? Like, that part to me is what blows my mind, because you can think it's a conspiracy and all that stuff, because I know there's a whole group of people that are watching it right now, people that are going to see it later, that are going to be like, it's the government, okay? And if it is the government, why not just protect yourself?
Yeah.
Like, why
if it's the government,
protection?
they're coming for you.
I don't understand. Like,
no matter what they say tonight, I think they have been given some good information. They have millennials. We had a caller, Gee, from Los Angeles, and it has been good information that has been shared in a loving, kind way, where we're hoping that you'll take it and use it. We are not forcing it on you, but we're sharing it with you as someone has shared it with us.
Exactly.
So we hope you've enjoyed the Millennial Journal this evening, and that you'll be back with us 2 weeks from now, right?
Yes,
I believe
ma'am.
so.
Friday evenings, 6:30 to 7:30, which is our new time.
Every other Friday.
Yeah, Friday.
Yeah, every other Friday.
Every Friday?
No,
every other Friday.
Every other Friday. Every other Friday. So 2 weeks from now. Yeah. Okay. So my producer told me when I'm supposed to wrap. So I think we're wrapping. Last time.
Thank you for having us,
Yes,
Linda. We'll
all
see you
right.
again soon.
Hi, millennials. Oh, yes. You guys are
Yay.
really
We got to represent.
Yeah, we do.
represent. Yes.
All day. And
Some
we're looking
people
forward to
out
more
there, they'll
callers.
listen to you. I'm too much of a mother hen, But I think people know you care. I think when they know you care, and they know when it's being done out of love and concern,
Yes.
it makes it a little different.
Yes. And all the ones that love and concern, call Call us. Talk to us. We want to
Call
hear
us
from
here.
you. Start calling us around 7:10, 7:15.
Yep. Let us know what you think.
All of you.
Yeah, we can talk to the millennials. You don't have to talk to the